so I'm very pleased to have introduced this legislation with my colleagues who are here, Senator Squadron. We have Councilman Levin, the Borough President Eric Adams. And the reason we introduced this legislation is because there is a snafu in the law that exists that does not allow us to identify the remains or a body quickly enough in order not only to help the bereaved family, but also to conduct a proper investigation of a crime. And in this case, there seemed to be an easy solution that Rabbi Needleman came up with, and that is at the central office in the state, the Division of Criminal Justice Services develop a way in which they could notify all the precincts in the state when there was a body found or remains found, and there would be no missing link when a missing person where somebody who was missing in a particular place in the state occurred. So what this bill does very simply is require the Division of Criminal Justice Services to tell all of the local precincts that a body has been found, go match it up, see if it's the missing person that you have in your precinct. And this way we'll be able to get closure on the case and possibly catch the perpetrator in short fashion.
This is such an important piece of legislation because as any law enforcement person will tell you, the first few moments after a crime takes place are the moments that is necessary to attempt to solve a crime, and it's the highest level that a crime can be solved. And so when we're able to identify the human remains or able to identify the body, it actually speeds up the investigation and it allows the information to be transmitted to all the law enforcement agencies that are involved. That was the spirit behind the Amber Law and some of the other laws, that when there's a missing child, to telecast the information throughout the entire state of New York, throughout the entire city.
It's even worse when you think that it is possible, had the system that the distinguished legislator just passed, possibly and hopefully the murder would have been resolved. So we are happy that, God forbid, the next case will not be so difficult on the family, will remove faster the criminals off the street, and it will be safe streets, and very important, the human dignity of a person who has been murdered for no good reason should be respected and restored as soon as possible.
You said that there was like a miscommunication type of thing, a couple hours lag of information between the police departments. Is that what you were implying? So how did they find the body then? Like which was it the NYPD or Nassau County?
Remember, this is a very high profile case. Not all of the cases are going to be like that, where it's high profile and the body will just languish in the morgue without ever being identified.
But was it Nassau County that called NYPD, or NYPD called? Like, how did it?
The DCJS has the responsibility when remains or a body is found under this bill to notify every precinct in the state. This way we don't miss anybody who has a missing person. And not just try to figure out who has a missing person in the state and then send the information there. The information will be required, and it's as easy as sending an email to all of the precincts throughout the state, giving the description of the body and all of the other identifying information that they have at the time.
So you're saying that they don't do that currently?
They do not. The autopsy question has already been legislated, and autopsies on Orthodox folks are not permitted unless public health is involved or there's a murder involved. Okay? And in this case, there was a murder involved, so presumably there could have been an autopsy. And I don't know if there ever was.
But when notification happens more quickly, then there's an opportunity for the family to weigh in about their wishes.
That's
And
right.
there's a possibility to restore the dignity that happens
Yes.
in different traditions very quickly when the notification happens. But that's an additional component you have to.
There was an autopsy though in this case.
We don't know.
Now, do you know how the Stark case is? Is it moving along, or it's stale right now? What's the latest?
Well, I spoke to some of the police officials, and they say that this is very. How can I put it? They don't want to give out a lot of information right now because they have things that they don't want to disclose because they don't want to lose the opportunity to catch these perpetrators. So, and that's why I invited some of the police officials here today, but they'd really not speak about it so that they have a better opportunity to catch this guy or people.
Now, based on what you heard, are you confident there will be an arrest eventually?
Yes, I am. There are a lot of law enforcement personnel working on it. There should be an arrest. But I can't, I expect shortly as well, but I don't know that. I just expect that it will happen sooner rather than later.
Do you